Well, hey, church, it is Tuesday afternoon, which means that it's time for another devotional. And over the last couple of weeks in my devotions, I've been talking about how we're supposed to consider it pure joy when we go through trials of many kinds. That in all circumstances, all situations, no matter how bad they are, we're supposed to strive to be joyful. Now, I've talked about a couple different things that can help us to do this. I talked about being mindful of what we're filling our minds with and focusing our attention on. I talked about maintaining a sense of humor during difficult times and how that can help us to still be joyful. There's, of course, plenty of other things that we could add to the list that can help us with this. But today's the last day that I'm going to talk about our attitude or our mindset that we should try to have as Christians. And I actually wanted to move in a different direction. I wanted to say that it's all right to lament in difficult times as well. It's all right to grieve, and to acknowledge the sadness and the despair, all the emotions that we're experiencing. See, being joyful doesn't mean that we just hide the bad things that we're going through, that we just pretend they don't exist and put on a happy face. No, true joy actually requires that we're fully honest. Because if we're just happy, there's no reason to try to be joyful. Because true joy means something deeper than just happiness. It's about having a peace even in the midst of difficult times. So to truly be joyful, we have to acknowledge all the really difficult things that we're going through. And in fact, that's what we see in the Bible. We don't see people just hiding their emotions from God. No, we see people expressing the full range of human emotions before God, pulling out and pouring out before God all that they're going through, even crying out to God. That's what we see in people like David and the prophets and Jesus. We see them coming before God and saying, "Why is this happening? How are you allowing this, oh God? Where are you? What is going on around me? How could I ever get past this?" That's what we see in the Bible, is people crying out before God, not just pretending that things are great when they're not. No, the book of Ecclesiastes says there's a time and a season for everything, even for lament and for sadness. God doesn't just want us to come before Him in an unauthentic way. God wants us to bring all that we are, all that we're experiencing, all the pain, all the suffering to Him. And then it's through the knowledge that God is still with us and that He accepts us wherever we're at, that we can have true joy. And this is really important to consider, especially in this week, because this is Holy Week. And Holy Week is indeed a week of lament, a week of sadness, as we remember Christ's sacrifice for us. We remember the full depth of what He had to go through to save us. It's not an easy thing to think about, all the pain, all the violence, all the agony that He experienced on our behalf. No, it's a difficult week. And we celebrate Easter this Sunday, but we can't get to Easter and all its joy and celebration unless we go through all the emotions of this week. And so I invite you this week, as you strive to live joyfully, don't think that means that you have to fake it, that you have to pretend things are great when they're not. No, acknowledge the hurt and the pain, the deep grief that you're feeling, if you are feeling that way. Bring all of yourselves before God, knowing that He is still with you and that He is still willing to save you, even in the midst of whatever you're experiencing. And that is what brings us joy when we celebrate the goodness of God, that He still is with us, even in a time like this. Yes, be who you are. Be fully authentic before God in this season and this week. Blessings, church.